Forget boring grammar rules. Just follow this story. While you enjoy the mystery, your brain is learning English naturally. You'll pick up real sentence patterns and useful expressions without even trying. That's the magic of learning through stories. If you like learning this way, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell. We post a new video every single day for learners like you. It started on a gray afternoon. The sky was heavy with clouds, and the air smelled like rain. People moved quickly on the sidewalks, umbrellas already open, even though the rain hadn't started yet. Maya had just left the bookstore downtown. Her bag was a little heavier than usual. She had finally bought the novel she'd been thinking about for weeks. She pulled her coat tighter and flagged down the first empty taxi she saw. The driver nodded. Maya told him her street. Then she sat back, stared out the window, and started checking her phone. There were a few new messages. Nothing important. Then the car stopped. She handed over the fare, grabbed her bag, and stepped out. The door closed. The taxi moved on. And just like that, her phone was gone. She realized it only after she reached her apartment. She placed her bag on the table, looked around for her phone, checked her pockets twice, and then froze. It wasn't there. She ran outside, but the taxi was long gone. For a moment, she stood still in the rain. The phone was important. Not because it was expensive, but because it held everything: notes, photos, messages, memories. She felt a strange emptiness, like something had been taken from her, not just dropped. She told herself to be calm. She went online using her laptop and tried to track it. Nothing. Then she called her own number. It rang once, then stopped. She tried again. This time, a message appeared. New message received. Check your email. Her heart skipped. She opened her inbox. At the top was an email from an address she didn't know. No words, just an image. A map. It showed her city, but not the usual kind. This one was hand-drawn. Streets were there, but with different names. Names like Whisper Lane, Lost and Found Street, and Echo Park. Some buildings were marked with little symbols: a star, a key, a spiral, an eye. And at the bottom, written in small letters, "Come find your story." Maya stared at the map. It wasn't a joke. Or, if it was a very strange one. The first mark on the map was near an old train station, just a few blocks away. She hesitated. Then she grabbed her coat and left. It was still raining. The streets glistened under the streetlights. Maya followed the map, one step at a time, her eyes scanning for the first symbol, a star. She found it near a bench by the station. Someone had drawn a small white star on the side of a vending machine. Below it was a word written in chalk: turn. She turned. There, on the wall behind her, was a poster. It was old and ripped, but one corner had been folded carefully. She pulled it back. Another map was underneath, smaller, with new marks. And this time a message: to go forward, first go down. There was a staircase nearby. She had always assumed it led to a locked basement. But now, she noticed the door was open. She stepped down slowly. Inside was an old laundry room. Cold, silent, lit by one buzzing light. No people, just machines that hadn't run in years. In the center of the floor was a box. Black, locked. On the top, a sticker: not everything lost is gone. She didn't have a key, but when she looked closer, she noticed something strange: a tiny slit on the side. The shape was familiar. It looked like a phone. Her phone? Maybe this was part of a game. A test. A message from someone who had found it. She took out her student ID and slid it into the slit. The box clicked. Inside was another note. Your phone waits. But so does something else. There was also a compass. A real one. Old, heavy with a crack on a glass. The needle spun for a second, then settled. North. She checked the map again. North pointed toward a place she knew well, a quiet corner of the city with old bookstores and cafes. But on this map, the area was labeled Voices Past. She followed the compass. The rain had stopped, but the air was damp and cool. As she walked, she noticed things she had never seen before. A gate covered in ivy, a broken clock above a door, a faded sign that said Fortunes Repaired. Every part of the city felt different, as if she was walking through a hidden layer, a version only visible to those who look closely. She reached the corner. There, next to an old bookstore, was a phone booth. Yes, an actual phone booth. She stepped inside. It was clean, dry. A small light flickered above. On the shelf was a book, green cover, no title. She opened it. Inside was a photo of her, from behind, walking into the bookstore hours ago. Her breath caught. Who was doing this? She turned the page. Some stories need to be found before they're told. Below it, another photo, this time of the taxi. And finally, a sentence. You left more than your phone. At the bottom of the book was a key. It had a tag that said, Locker 43. There is only one place in the city with numbered lockers, the old train station. She ran. It was late now. The streets were quiet. The station was nearly empty. She walked past rows of lockers until she found it. 43. She slid the key into the lock. It opened with a click. Inside was her phone. Charged. Clean. Placed on a soft cloth, as if it were something precious. And beside it, another note. You followed the path. You paid attention. You saw the city not as it is, but as it could be. At the very bottom, you are now a seeker. Maya stood there for a long time, phone in hand. She didn't know who had done this, or why, but she felt something shift inside her. The streets outside weren't just streets anymore. They were full of stories, secrets, and possibilities. From that night on, Maya walked differently. She noticed details. She watched shadows. She looked for symbols. And sometimes she found them. Little marks, hidden messages, faded arrows on walls. The city had opened itself to her. And all it took was one lost phone. You just learned without trying. While you followed Maya's adventure, your brain was picking up useful sentence structures, common expressions, and natural grammar, all without studying. That's the power of stories. You're not just learning, you're living the language. If this story helped you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss our daily videos. Now, tell us in the comments, what would you do if someone sent you a mysterious map? We can't wait to read your answers.